The Illinois Supreme Court set to hear 4 cases today, ranging from the Firearm Owner Identification Card and the Freedom of Information Act to whether a bicyclist who hit a pothole in Chicago can sue the city of Chicago because of their injuries. Let's take a look at some of these cases. Welcome back, Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. If you go and check out the Illinois Supreme Court's website, you can see where you can actually view the live stream for today's cases that are going to start at 9 o'clock this morning. So first on the docket is case number 128957, People, State of Illinois, appellee, versus Dante Webb, appellant. So this comes from the 4th District of Circuit Courts in Illinois. The appeals court taking this case up. Let's go ahead and look at the arguments where the issues presented for review in the brief. And this is just, a general overview of what's going to be argued today in the Illinois Supreme Court in this particular case. It says, when law enforcement searched Dante Webb's vehicle in 2018 based solely on an alert by a dog trained to detect cannabis was partially legalized. So we had medicinal cannabis back in 2018. It wasn't until January 1st of 2020 when recreational cannabis was legalized. And the question that the court's going to be presented with, did Webb's trial attorney provide ineffective assistance of counsel when he failed to move to suppress the fruits of the search on the basis of that alert with no additional evidence of illegal drug possession, failed to give officers probable cause? So that's the question at hand in that particular case. So we'll see how that plays out. Another really fascinating case is the second case that they're going to hear in the Illinois Supreme Court, and that is case number 128275. And that's Sandra Hart et al. As the appellees versus Illinois State Police. If you look at the nature of the action here in the briefs filed, Sandra Hart and Kenneth Burgess each submitted a request to Illinois State Police under the Illinois Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, seeking production of their applications for firearm owners' identification cards and their denial or revocation letters from ISP. ISP denied the request, citing state law, which prohibits releasing the names and information of individuals who've applied for FOID cards. For Burgess's request, ISP also argued that it was bound by a permanent injunction entered by a circuit court in another case prohibiting the release of FOID card information. Hart and Burgess each filed FOIA actions in the circuit courts, and their subsequent motions for summary judgment were granted on the ground, in the circuit court's view, that state law contains an unwritten exemption to its blanket prohibition on disclosure. ISP appealed both judgments. The appellate court consolidated the appeals and affirmed the circuit court's order holding a section of law when it comes to FOIA does not apply if a person seeks his or her own information. So I think that's important. It does not apply when a person seeks his or her information. So yes, that is something that you're going to see argued in the Illinois Supreme Court today. It's the second case they'll take up. So we'll watch how that plays out. Reviewing some of the Supreme Court cases that are going to be heard today, and that's going to be 4 cases altogether. Another case in front of the Illinois Supreme Court is case number 128575. 128575. That is Alec Pinkerton versus the city of Chicago. This one deals with traffic tickets, and it's more about administrative law, and in particular, you've got someone contesting a city of Chicago traffic ticket, and that'll kind of be a little boring. But another case that's going to be heard today is Clark Alvey versus the city of Chicago, and this deals with a fascinating turn of events for a bicyclist. So the nature of the case, according to the briefs, plaintiff Clark Alvey alleges that he rode his bicycle into a pothole on a street in the city of Chicago, which caused him to fall and sustain injuries. Under Illinois law, the municipality owes a duty to maintain its property only to those whom the municipality intends and permits the use of the property in question. At the location while Alve's accident occurred, no signs or pavement markings indicated that the city intended bicycling. The circuit court determined the city did not intend bicycling there and dismissed the case. So again, this is fascinating, right? The appellate court reversed, citing the presence of a divvy bicycle sharing station in the vicinity of the accident sites as evidence implying that the city intended bicycling was supposed to be there where Alve fell. The courts allowed the city's petition to leave appeal. All questions are raised on the pleadings. Whether the city had a duty to maintain its property in a condition that was reasonably safe for bicycling at a location where neither signs nor pavement markings indicated the city intended bicycling. So clearly this is going to be a fascinating one to watch. So again, just some of the cases going to be heard in front of the Illinois Supreme Court today. We may try to revisit that a bit later this week when we dip into those, and especially the FOID card and the FOIA, because from my understanding, it's always been you can request your FBI file. Seriously, you can request your FBI file. If you want to see what the FBI has on you, you can do a FOIA request. From my understanding, I haven't done it, but from my understanding, you can request, because it's your information that they have on you, you can request that. So give it a shot sometime, I guess. See what kind of information they've got on you. All right. Again, Illinois Supreme Court, 4 cases today. Some of them are actually really fascinating.